Yo, Philly landlords, what's up? Welcome back to the Philadelphia Landlords Connect podcast once again. This week we have a great episode planned for you, but first let me just tell you about some things that are going on with the Philadelphia Landlords Connect project. This is still the beginning of things, and we're still working on bringing you more and more value to this project. We've been working on a project called ProLink that many of you will know and have already used, helping you to get connected with reliable contractors, vendors, and service providers. And all that information is always available via the Facebook group. If you're not already a part of the Facebook community, there's no reason not to join. It's the Philadelphia Landlords Connect group, and we will include that in the show notes so that you can find it easily. But if you just search that on Facebook, you'll find it as well. A lot of things that are coming down the road. Again, we're at the beginning, and we really want to bring you guys value and improve your ability to be a good landlord, to be a profitable landlord, and to know how to navigate through all of the laws and regulations and things that you have to do in Philadelphia and the surrounding area. So today, what we have is something that people have been asking for a while. It comes up very often, especially because there was a new assessment last year in Philadelphia for property taxes, and a lot of people have been asking questions about how can they appeal their property taxes. It is a complicated process if you've never done it before, and we were able to partner with a company called In-Center Tax Solutions that allows us to bring you or pass you over to them and submit your properties, and within 72 hours plus minus, you will find out if you do have a case for appealing your property tax, and they will take care of everything for you based on a success fee. So the owner of the In-Center Tax Solutions is with us today, Allison Tulio. Let me just tell you a bit about her before I turn things over to her. Allison Tulio is president of In-Center Tax Solutions. She has more than 15 years of experience in residential and commercial property tax appeals. And her mission is as the organization's leader, is to grow nationwide awareness of the need for property tax assessment review in order to bring relief to many property owners as possible. In other words, she wants to save you money. So without further ado, let me introduce Allison. And first question is, can you tell you a bit about your background, and how did you end up doing this as your career?
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you for having me. So as Cheryl said, my name is Alison Tulio. I'm a real estate attorney. I started my real estate practice over 20 years ago. And when the market tanked in 2008, there really was not a lot of work to do. So property tax appeals were very, very prevalent because most people were overassessed. I started my own firm called Mid-Atlantic Tax Solutions. We specialize in local tax appeals in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. It was very successful. I then came to In-Center Tax Solutions to take the property tax appeal position nationwide. So we are now in all 50 states, which is great for us because we can manage portfolios in multi-states for landlords such as your audience. So I got into the property tax appeals, and I stayed with it because I will tell you, as an attorney, they are the happiest clients I've ever had in my life. It's really hard as a lawyer to find a good purpose, and helping people save money, especially now in this economy, it makes me very happy, and I'm happy to help as much as I can.
So thank you for that. And I never thought of it that way, but yeah, most people aren't happy to talk to their attorney, are they?
No.
But in your case, they will be. That's super. I like that. So I have so many questions, and this is an issue, like I said, that many landlords, investors, owners, they're very concerned with, in particular in Philadelphia, where a lot of us experienced a big bump in our taxes recently, and people, I guess it's maybe common in big cities. It just seems really hard to figure out how to get things done on your own. And I was just thrilled to find you guys and connect with you and to start partnering with you, because it allows basically all of our community members, every landlord can submit their properties to you and find out if they have a case for making an appeal and save valuable money. So my first question, so typically when an investor purchases a property, they know what the tax assessment is. They're basing their underwriting, their numbers and whether this is a good opportunity for them, based on whatever taxes they can get from, they're told, because of it's in public records. But what they don't think about is, are those taxes even correct? And the idea that maybe they could reduce those taxes. And I wanted to understand a little bit about, is there a risk involved when they do appeal? How does someone even begin to know, like, these taxes aren't correct? I think when I started, for example, I just assumed that's like a scientific number. That's just a fact.
Mm-hmm. So let's, for example, use the Philly reassessment last year. We all know that the assessors did not come out to each property and do a full appraisal, right? So they're basing their countywide assessment on formulas. So as you can imagine, with all of the thousands of properties in Philadelphia, they're not going to get every assessment right. The average property tax last year went up 39%. So investors, landlords, anytime they're looking to purchase a property, especially now, they need to have their property taxes reviewed, because as we know, that's thousands of dollars that they can be saving every year. I always recommend, whether you use us or another expert, that you absolutely retain someone that is an expert in this business. Because the boards are less or more likely to decline a property owner, right? Experts know what they're doing. They know the formulas. They know the evidence they need to bring in. They know our faces. They know our attorneys. So they are more likely to give us the reductions that we're seeking. And that's why we are 100% successful in Philadelphia.
Wow, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. So, and I completely agree. I have learned the hard way that when I don't go to experts for certain things, it doesn't go the way that I would like it to go, and that there's a true benefit to that. Not to mention the time factor. For most of us, I think, to try to learn this and then to actually go through it, it would be very time consuming. So there's just that fact.
Yeah, I mean, I've had numerous clients over the years who have done it incorrectly, and their taxes have actually increased. So that's another negative. And also, like you said, the availability factor. They file the appeal, then the hearing comes. They don't necessarily want to go to these hearings. They're intimidating. You're sitting on a Zoom call with 12 people from the Philadelphia OPA. So at that point, they punt it to me as well. So it's just really worthwhile for multiple reasons for them just to let us handle it.
So could you shed some light onto the process on the assessor side? How do they determine property tax assessments? Like, what are the methods that they use? And is it different from place to place? Because every time I've spoken with an assessment office in other locales, what I understood is that each municipality could have their own methods, and it always confused me.
That is 100% correct. And honestly, I don't like to speak to the assessor's processes because I really don't know exactly what they are. I don't think they're an exact science. So it does vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction throughout the country. And there is no exact science, right? I mean, they're evaluating hundreds, if not thousands, of properties in a year to 18 months. So a lot of times they don't even go out to the properties. So that's why we're here, to fix those imperfections in their assessments.
Okay. So in one case, like, it was I had a situation in Florida, for example, where as soon as I spoke with the assessor, it was crystal clear. She said to me, this was a fairly new property. So I think that, there was no reason that they would even need to enter. They know what all the information is out there available to them. And her question to me, when I questioned why I was being assessed so high, was, had I looked at what the comps were? And it was very easy for them to look at the comps. And it was just, that was just a fact. You know, the comp was whatever, $400,000. So that's clearly what your house could sell for.
So Florida is a very unique state. They actually put the comps on their website, right? So I think they are more dialed into their assessments. However, Florida is also unique in the sense that they have unique exemption rules. They have several different exemptions that you can get for a residential property and for a commercial property. Some of them are automatically applied and some aren't. Different real estate taxing authorities use different assessments. So Florida is a very unique animal. If you call, they're very helpful. But again, it's different. It's a different formula. The exemptions are different. You have to look at it differently. So again, this is why I tell people to come to us, because they don't understand all those considerations that are taken into.
Okay. So when someone submits to the website to ask you guys to evaluate it, I think that one of the things that you told me is then once someone does that, they're in the system and you will reevaluate every year. How often does it happen that year after year someone can be assessed incorrectly?
So that is true. In Center Tax Solutions, this is all we do. So we want to monitor our clients' property taxes every year, and we will let them know if they're over assessed or not. It depends on the market. I have had clients appeal 4, 5, 6 years in a row, right? Because the numbers do change every year. So whether or not they're knocking off $500 or $6,000, there's always, I shouldn't say always, but there may be an opportunity to appeal year after year. And that's what we're here for, to look at that.
Okay. And there's really, I guess, no reason to not do it since there's no upfront fee.
There's no upfront fee. There's no fee for the review. The only fee that ever gets paid is if we're successful in the appeal.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you specifically about an experience I had in Philadelphia, and I did speak to you before a little bit about it. So I had a house that was, well, the assessment went up tremendously because it just wasn't assessed even near correctly previously, and I enjoyed several years of taxes that were so low and made no sense. So I think it went up 1,000%. And of course that that upset me. And when I looked around to see what were my neighbors assessed, they were being assessed lower. And I was really trying to understand, because in one case, it was the house right next to mine, and I've been in it, and I know that they have more amenities and that it is a higher end house. So what I did call the Philadelphia assessor's office, and it was very funny. I never expected an answer like this, but I had put the house on the market for a few weeks and then taken it off. So my pictures had been up there. And the first comment that the assessor made was, "Oh, your pictures are very beautiful." And I don't know if that was a hint. I don't know what that was about, but I was trying to understand what may have happened there and why I'm assessed differently than my neighbor.
So there could be several factors involved. Your neighbor could have appealed and gotten their assessment lowered. Remember, the assessors are not inside your house, so they might not know how nice their house is inside or what your house looks like. So there's many different factors, including the fact that they're just inconsistent, right? That's why we're here. However, the basis of a property tax appeal for market value is not what your neighbors are assessed at. It's what similar properties to yours are selling for currently. That's the basis of the appeal.
Okay. So as a lay person, one thing that I could do in order to keep an eye on whether I might be able to save in property tax is just to keep that close eye on what the comps are within like a quarter of a mile radius.
Yeah, as close to your property as possible. Now, Philadelphia, we require an appraisal to go into a hearing, okay? Because we want them to know, we know what your house looks like. We want them to know what it compares to with the comps. We're going to maximize the savings that way. So if you look on the board's website, they do require comps, we do a full appraisal. So there's no refuting what our market value position is. And generally speaking, the appraisal is about $150 for a residential appraisal. And that includes the full inspection and the testimony of the appraiser at the hearing. Obviously, commercial appraisers are going to be a bit more, and we quote that before we even move forward with an appeal or before we even engage with the client. So they're well aware of that.
Okay. So that would be the one fee that someone needs to take into consideration that they'll need to put put up front. Okay.
Yes, unless their house was purchased within the last year, then we don't need the appraisal.
Okay. And does, so this is a little bit of a sensitive question, but in reality, many people are doing work on their houses. Some are pulling permits and some aren't. Does pulling permits put you at a higher risk of having your assessment go up?
Yes, if you pull a permit, you're going to be reassessed when the permit's closed. And then at that point, you'll get a new assessment and you can file what's called an interim appeal. So they'll send you your new assessment. You usually have 30 to 45 days to appeal that. But yes, you will be reassessed if you pull permits.
Okay, that's important for people to know. So are there any tips that you could leave us with that you would say, other than submitting the properties and just having them evaluated and potentially filing an appeal? Is there any tips that people should follow in order to maximize their savings?
Absolutely. So other than getting your property reviewed by us, there's also the homestead exemption in Philadelphia. We can help you file that for a nominal fee of $95. That knocks another $1,100 off your taxes every year for most people. And that's applied every year until you sell that property if it's your primary residence. So that's another way to lower your property taxes.
Okay. So that would be only for the property that you actually live in yourself.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
the primary residence.
Okay.
And then the other tip is if you're looking to buy a property, have us run a review of the taxes. With the interest rates the way they are, a lot of people are boxed out of buying properties. If the taxes are lower, that puts them back into the box of being able to buy that property and afford it. So it's well worth the look.
Okay, so people who are considering a purchase can submit that address and also have that evaluation done?
Correct.
Wow, fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that covers everything that we wanted to cover. It's obviously a very focused conversation and issue, and very timely as well. Another thing that we should probably mention, I think that for Philadelphia, I don't know about the surrounding counties, but for Philadelphia, the deadline is October 1st for appeals. Is that
3rd this
October
year?
3rd? Okay.
Yeah, I will say, the counties most of them are August 1st, so that appeal deadline has passed. But I will say this, I mean, most people think this service is too good to be true. They think it's a scam. It's not. I can tell you, I've been doing it for over 15 years. It's a great way to put money back in your pocket and lower your mortgage payment if you're escrowing your taxes. So it's not too good to be true. I will end on that note.
That's right. We do hear that often. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. But I can attest that it is good and it's true.
And it's legitimate. Yes.
Right. So I just want to mention how people can, or I'll let you mention how people can reach you and what's the best way to submit their properties and get the process started.
So there's several ways they can reach us. They can go on our website, www.incentertaxsolutions.com. I know, Cheryl, you're going to post your partner link as well that we have set up for you. There's also our toll-free number, which is 188. Off the top of my head. Most people don't call it, but my direct line is 267-460-4730. My email is alison.tulio@incenterls.com.
Okay.
There's many ways to contact us.
Okay. And as usual, we'll put the information in the show notes. And for our community, we have a landing page that we've put together, and people can just literally go on there, submit their property address, and I think it's usually a turnover of up to 3 days that they'll hear something back.
It's usually 24 to 48 hours. Yeah.
Okay. And I know I've heard from people, and everybody seems really thrilled about this, and that several people have told me they've uploaded all of their properties already. So really, really happy to have connected with you, Allison. And thank you so much for all this valuable information. And I'm looking forward to hearing about all the good news that you bring to our landlords and the entire community.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.